few years back, a lot of you guys that I know of decided to enter crypto. And it was a great time, right, to enter crypto. I'm talking about like 2019, 2020, you know, when everything's pumping, everyone's happy, and the news is also pumping even more, so that you can all jump in and create a parabola. Excuse the noise, I'm driving, so yeah, and I drive a 4x4. It's not made for comfort, let's just put it this way. Right, anyway, so you all come in and you've been excited, and you trust the news, right? You trust the news, and it pumps, and the more the news comes out, the more afraid a person like me becomes. Because news is not good, right? Have you ever heard of good news on the news, right? No. It's all there for another purpose. I don't know what it is. I don't really care. I'm not going to go into the conspiracies about it. But what you have to understand is the same news can put information out or misinformation out that could affect certain markets, right? Or anything, actually. It's not about markets or industries. It could be absolutely anything, even your emotion, right? Mess with your head, basically. So my last two videos, I've mentioned something where, we've had the crypto flash crash. A lot of people have been talking about what the possibilities are, that this could have happened, that could have happened, and I was quite annoyed and whatnot. And those videos I didn't do the camera facing, solely because it was in the night, guys. So I've literally like shot the video on a screenshot and then I just basically posted it. I don't even bother editing it, right? Which I don't do most of the time. It's very rare that I'll do an edit. Even this one, I probably won't do an edit unless there's a bad noise or something, or unless I've said something that I shouldn't. Then yeah, once YouTube checks it, if YouTube doesn't like it, and they'll tell me what segment to take out, I'll probably take it away. Anyway, enough of that. I don't want to talk about that. So on the motorway, it'll be a bit noisy, so yeah, just bear with me. So I'm using the Bluetooth audio as well, so hopefully that helps a little bit to filter out some of the noise. Anyway, so the situation is that the market has obviously dumped a little bit. I have my theory why I feel it's dumped, because I don't believe in coincidences. It's true, I just don't believe in coincidences. Everything has a purpose. Every action has a reaction, right? You can't have a positive without a negative, right? A day without a night. Hence why I believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence, and certain things are done by people for certain reasons. And for me, I've always for the last few months, especially when BlackRock entered the game, when they announced, we want to do this and this and that, knowing how much power they have in the financial institutions, in the financial industry, right? Even governments, knowing how much power this one giant company has, the leverage it has over them, it just doesn't make any sense that their ETF, or whatever they want to do, the spot ETF, right, hasn't been approved. Now, I know a lot of people are bullish over this. Doesn't make much of a difference to me. A spot ETF is good as long as they're making sure that whenever the exchange traded funds go up or down, they decide to buy or sell on the spot, which is brilliant for us, right? So for the market, it is a good thing. I'll be honest with you, it is a good thing, right? Compared to fake numbers and fake papers, if you're doing a spot ETF where you're buying and selling on the spot markets, that's very good, in my books, right? But what was concerning me was that how it kind of fizzled away, how this information, that's news about BlackRock, just died away, just like that. It just came like a storm, and everyone was bullish about it, everyone was hyping about it, and then it just died off. And that was the key for me. The key for me was silence. I was like, why would everybody be silent? Why would BlackRock be silent? Why would SEC be silent? Right? And of course you've got other people coming out with the theories, and I'm like, forget all the theories. The question is why are they silent? And then we had the flash crash, and I was like, that makes sense, right? It was like one of those aha light bulb moments, right? That makes sense. If they really want to start an ETF, and they will be the catalyst to pump the market, they want to be doing maximum gain. But in order for them to do maximum gain, the market has to suffer maximum pain, right? Now, we've talked about other stuff like other financial sectors, housing, this, that, even the dollar, even money, currency itself, right? You know, it's going to shit, right? There's a bigger plan, right? There's a bigger plan. And I can't tell you what it is. I'm not a BlackRock employee or anything like this. But if we have this gut feeling that something big is about to happen in the financial industries, they also have, you know, they also know about it. In fact, if they want to stay in business and stay profitable, it's not just about knowing about it, they also must control it, right? Because imagine this, right? The world goes into chaos. We enter an apocalypse, right? Financial apocalypse, right? Where, you know, every stocks, shares, bonds, housing, whatever, everything crashes, right? Banks are shut down for good, you know, an excuse for CBDC and XYZ, right? So, because you need a new financial system. So all of those things I'm talking about, right? So everything is going to crash. What happens to a 9.8 or 9.7 trillion dollar company? They also go to shit, right? So how do they protect themselves? The only way they protect themselves is if they steering the market, right? If they can control what's about to happen. And by the way, they're not just the only one. There are other companies, maybe not as big as them, but there are other companies with, you know, billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars under their belt as well. It's just that we pick on BlackRock because BlackRock has the highest amount, right? Of course, if we want to leave BlackRock and go to individuals or families, then there are other families around the world who have probably 10, you know, if not 4 or 5 times at least more than BlackRock in their thing. They have the capacity to print money. They don't need money. So, but leaving all of that aside, right, let's just talk about BlackRock. And I just wanted to make this differentiation that, look, BlackRock might have 9.7, 9.8 trillion dollars under the belt asset management. There are other companies with like 1, 2, 3, 4 trillion dollars as well. So, you know, it's just that they're the biggest one. But they're the one who have been quite, you know, loud about what they want to do. They've been talking about how they want to enter the crypto sphere, and which for me was like, okay, that's very interesting. Why would you come into this? Because you're not interested in this. And, you know, even if you did come in, you have the capacity to buy the entire freaking $1 trillion market cap. You can liquidate you can wipe out everybody if you choose to. Why would you enter crypto? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any financial sense to me, but now it makes more sense. Like when you start connecting the dots, it makes more sense that they need the market to come down, crash it down as low as possible, and gain as much control as they can. Now, what I mean by control is this, right, guys? You have to understand. There are other entities, right, that have been in crypto for a very long time. In fact, one of the largest holders from way back in the days, from I think 2011 or 2012, I can't remember, was actually the Winklevoss brothers, right? So think about that, right? So, you know, they were one of the largest holders, and of course then other players came in board, you know, and then there are other players, like we can name a few, say for example top 10. If we've got to add the Winklevoss brothers, obviously we've got Elon Musk, we've got Michael Saylor, we've got Grayscale BTC, we've got ARK Invest, we've got, what's the other one? There's another one as well that's not coming to me. But let's just say, like, you know, CME, whatever. But there's a lot of institutes and companies and individuals that do hold a large quantity of Bitcoin, right? You know, I don't care what the value is, but they hold a large quantity of Bitcoin. That's what matters, right? So, of course, most of them are hodlers. They're still hodling. But if the opportunity is there for them to make money, any one of them could start triggering the market to make money. And remember on yesterday's video, if you haven't watched it, it's there on the playlist somewhere. But on yesterday's video, I mentioned how all it takes is one exchange to start the liquidation, and then things could go sideways, right? And for us, going south literally. So, and I feel that there was an inside something in it was an inside trick, because you need one trigger. Somebody has to be liquidated for the entire market to come. Selling crypto doesn't dump the market, guys. Please understand this. Selling crypto doesn't affect the market, right? Selling crypto, you sell, someone's always going to buy, right? If there's no buyers, you can't sell it anyway. So think about that. The number of available coins, if you put them all for sale and there's no one to buy, that coin doesn't do anything, And if someone does want to offer a smaller amount and say, all right, my limit order is to buy 10% below the market, well, they can scoop up as many they want. Even then, it doesn't impact the market as much. It doesn't trigger an effect where every exchange immediately says, well, that's the price, it's going now. Because immediately when that happens, people start to buy. The moment people start to buy, the price starts to shoot up. So what happened a few days ago was the opposite. There was a lot of leverage traded, very high leverage, because they were shooting for the moon, which is fine, right? Because a lot of people were feeling bullish. And technically, since we've bounced on the 15,500, we have been moving upwards, which technically is entering into a bull market. And I may have mentioned something yesterday, and somebody kind of said to me, I thought you said we're in a bull market. Yes, I know I said yesterday's video, I said that we're not in a bull market. What I meant to say was, when you go to the bottom and when you start pushing back up, technically you are starting another bull run. And technically we have started another bull run. In fact, we did 100%. We did 100% from the 15,500. And we shot up, right? So think about that. Now that we're having a correction, right? This correction could take us back down 50%. That's not a problem. If those of you who watch this channel should know there's a motto that I go by: expect a dump after the pump, and 50% dumps are absolutely normal. In the crypto sphere, we can have a 50% dump, not an issue. We can have I think, who was it? What was his name? Oh, can't remember. I can't remember what someone on Twitter basically tweeted something, and I respect that, right? What's his name? The guy from Stock to Flow, anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? $100 trillion, whatever. Anyway, so Plan B, sorry, my bad, Plan B. So Plan B said on Twitter yesterday, he said, for those noobs that have just entered crypto, we could have a 30% dump 6 times before we do a 10x, right? And what he's trying to say is, what you have to understand is, when you go down, the percentage that you will see going down may look bad, but on the way up, those same percentage could end up being far bigger numbers, right? And it's true, dumps are absolutely normal. That's solely because, look, we are still a very new market, right? We are a very new market. We still have a lot of maturity to do. And in fact, what you have to understand, this is another fact as well, right? So when you go to trade, like on normal stocks, bonds and shares, right, there's a lot of due diligence from the companies who provide the service for people to come in and out. So there's a lot of education involved, right? You don't just get every Tom, Dick and Harry going and buying and selling and trading, right? So they do a lot of risk management for you, right? Which is a lot of control, obviously. Crypto gives an opportunity for anybody with a freaking computer and internet connection. Let's just say anybody with an internet connection to actually go and trade, right? Nobody's restricting you from doing what you want to. There's no, maybe some exchanges limit you on how much you can leverage, but then if you go decentralized way, you can go and do 125 times leverage if you want, right? So you can take more risks, because there's no one out there governing the situation, and we don't want anybody to govern it either. So the more people, emotionally feel like it's going to be bullish or whatever, they open up trades, but of course they're not trained. They're not trained. They haven't, tested the market on dummy accounts or whatnot. And even dummy accounts don't work, right? A lot of the time. So sometimes you've got to do the real trades, but you've got to do it with small amounts, right? My advice is, if anyone's going to start leverage trading, start with $100 and see where you can take that. If you can take your $100 to $1,000, good luck to you. Then play with the 900, keep your $100, right? But a lot of people are not doing this. They're coming and they're putting a portfolio of 10K and they're playing with 10K because they don't understand risk management. They don't understand how to, say, I'm going to only trade 10% maximum or 5% maximum. They don't understand this, right? Because it's all about that emotional thing that's like, okay, I'm here to make money. This is my investment. This is what I'm going to do, right? And you get a lot of people talking about it online as well, where they're like, oh, I started with this. I quit my job. I did this. No. Why you quit your job for? If you quit your job, why are you working for YouTube? Because that's what you're doing, right? You haven't quit your job. You're still working. You're working for YouTube. You're working for the views. You're working for the subscribers. You're working for the sponsors, right? So you're still working. Don't say you quit your job. Don't say that, because you haven't. You're still doing a job. Right now, I'm doing a job right now on this video. I'm working for you, for the community, right? It might be unpaid because my channel's not monetized, but I'm not getting a sponsor. I'm not doing none of that business, but I'm doing it for you. I'm working. At least I'm honest about it. Right now, I'm driving. I'm going to work because I still work, right? So, I trade. I have a normal life and I have a work life, right? So a lot of people need to understand these kind of things. It's like, look, guys, anything you hear, you see, you watch, try and keep control for yourself. Because nobody's extraordinary, and the people that are extraordinary, they've either been born into it or been very lucky, right? Let me give you a good example. Like, let's talk about Bitcoin. There has been many versions of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency before Bitcoin, right? There has been many versions of CBDC, kind of, before the first CBDC was mentioned. In fact, Bitcoin is a form of CBDC, except it's not centralized, it's decentralized, hence why it's not CBDC. Elon Musk, his first payment system, PayPal, right? There were many out there already. But he just managed to get lucky and have the momentum and exit in time in order for him to move forward. So that's him. So when you start looking at those kind of success, you can't compare, because they've been very lucky, very fortunate, or they've had all the dots aligned for them, all the stars aligned for them to be there. But they are only 1% of the planet. They are only 1% of the planet, right? Or no, even less than that, actually. I mean, I have to say they're probably even less than 1% of the planet. So when you're looking at that, you can't compare. If Elon Musk says, oh, actually, I've planned to retire, I'm not doing nothing. Well, he's got freaking almost $1 trillion in his bank balance, probably. I mean, if the guy could pay for $43 billion for Twitter, a non-profitable company, or make a few phone calls and borrow money, billions of dollars just like that, how can you compare to him? You can't, right? But one thing we can see is he's not on YouTube. He's not working for you. Right? It's not working for you. He's working for his own company. He works 18 hours a day, whatever. So I'm just using that as an example, guys, just to make sure you understand, right? We are all going to make it, that's for sure, right, Wagner, right? We are all going to make it. But before we all make it, you as individuals need to get your emotions in check, right? And understand that when there's hype news, be afraid. When there's news about devastation in the markets or whatnot, and this and that, you be happy. Last few days, the entire market collapses, other than the fact that I was really annoyed at people. I was really annoyed at people who know me, who are buzzing, sending me messages, whatnot, calling me, all right? Other than being annoyed with all of them, and I've put my stuff on the video and, that's it, I left it there. I actually spent last 2 days watching how to grow plants. Yeah, that's my zen. You get me, right? Just chilling out, relaxed. I haven't touched a single crypto news article, YouTube, Twitter, anything. I haven't opened my Twitter. I've seen the notification from Plan B. That's it. I haven't opened the thing. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Good or bad news, I'm not interested. I don't want to know what the market, what the community or the news corporations are throwing at me. I don't want to know. That's okay. I'm not interested. The only thing I am interested in is what is the candle telling me? What is the chart telling me? What is the stochastic RSI telling me? What is the RSI telling me? That's all I'm interested. So if you watched yesterday's video, you would have seen what I talked about, this stochastic RSI. I talked about Ethereum, how Ethereum looks like it might be able to pull the, drag the market down. So just be careful with that one. That's all I'm going to say. But other than that, we can easily push back up again, right? If people who originally manipulated the market to dump the price, if they've already reset, then right now they could be ready to buy up again and move on. There's nobody here that could stop them from doing whatever they want to do. So if they want to push the market back up again, if they're like, okay, fine, 25k was our entry point, it's the price that we wanted, and now let's shoot up to 75k. Well, they can easily do that, and nobody can stop them, right? They can easily do that, and absolutely nobody can stop them, because that's what their plan was. So hope you understand how things work. But as I said, look guys, this video is not about the markets, not about the crash, the flash crash, or whatever you're going to call it. None of that business, right? You just got to stay calm, understand that, hold on, something else. It's not even about BlackRock. I don't give a shit about BlackRock, right? BlackRock doesn't bother me, right? But I am concerned if we do go back below 20k for whatever reason, then I am worried a little bit, because I've been hodling from there. So I don't really want to go and see a dip there. That would then impact me. But until then, I'm not impacted, right? So if that makes sense. I mean, I have been thinking that I might just move my funds over. The very little funds that I have, I might move it over and just put a stop loss, below somewhere. But then I don't want to, because I'm like, if I put a stop loss, what's going to happen? I might it might blip for a little bit, liquidate me, stop me out, and then it just pumps again, then I lose out. So then I'm thinking, fuck it, I could probably got to work a little bit more, probably got to go and find a second job for a new, next few months or whatever, and DCA, right? Because that's what I think the best thing is. I think DCA is the way forward. So I'm going to do a little bit of DCA. I don't normally do a lot of DCA, right? Of course, when the market's trending down, I do buy, but not everything, right? I'm very fussy. I know a lot of you guys probably know I'm very fussy. When it's time for me to buy BTC, I buy BTC. When it's time for me to buy Ethereum, I'll buy Ethereum. When it's time for me to buy some shitcoin, I'll buy some shitcoin, right? And I make these announcements as well. So, if it comes to BTC, I'm not quite sure. I just don't want it to go below 20k. I'm being honest here. Whatever the case is, I don't want it to go to 20k. 25k, I'm fine. 24k, I'm fine. 21, 22k, I'm fine. I don't want it to go below 20k, right? $20,000. I do not want it to go below that. That's my last number. I don't want to go below that. So let's see what happens. Of course, if I see a rebound coming from there, or any signals of a rebound coming from there, then I might actually enter a leverage. But before that, I wouldn't really do anything. Ethereum is a different story. Ethereum, if it keeps on going down, even though it will drag the market down, here's a fun part, right? If Ethereum goes below $1,200 towards the $1,000 or whatever, right? I just want to buy more. I want to buy more Ethereum. So I know this is kind of weird, right? Here I'm worried about BTC going below 20k, but Ethereum, golden opportunity. While I'm at it buying some Ethereum, I also want to buy some Matic and Cardano and whatnot, right? There's a few other bits and bobs. I don't want to mention too many, even Solana as well, right? So I'm quite excited. If the market goes to 20, what do I do with BTC? I'm a bit worried. But the rest of it, I'm actually excited. I'm like, discounts, bargain basement, right? You go up there, let it hit the bottom, and you pick up all of these bargains. So I'm kind of in a bit of a dilemma. Do I protect my BTC assets? Do I double down on BTC and accumulate a little bit more BTC, or leave BTC altogether and let it do what it needs to do and just hodl, because that's the original plan anyway, and just jump onto the alts and Ethereum and whatnot? Remember, I also consider Ethereum as an altcoin as well, by the way. So you do have to understand, when I'm saying alts, generally it's everything. Of course, when I'm talking about top tier blue chips, then I'm talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the top 10s, whatever. So I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, should I not? Because it seems like a lucrative situation, right? Where you can just get yourself a little bit more. So I do want some, and so I'm thinking about that. There's more reasons to that as well. Ethereum, Matic, or Optimism, Arbitrum, Solana. I have my reasons why I want to pick some up. And one of the main reasons is that I want to be ready for when we launch our token. I want to be ready, because worst case scenario, right? And I'm always thinking about worst case scenario, guys. Is everything's not about best case scenario. Everything's not about being bullish and whatnot, right? So one of the things that I've been thinking about is there's a particular amount of liquidity I'm looking for. If I don't get that particular amount of liquidity, I might have to put liquidity in myself, right? Which I'm trying to avoid, because I don't want to be involved in providing liquidity. But if I have to, I will, right? So that's something that I've been looking into. I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I might have to have a backup. The developer, one of our close friend, he's actually on our Discord as well. A lot of people didn't notice this. He's been sitting on the Discord. So one of our developer, main developer, basically, he's the main man, right? Him, myself, and a few other people are already bullish on what we want to do with this, because the project is super solid, right? So if we have to, we're going to pump the liquidity in there. Hence why I want to buy as much cheap Ethereum as I can, because we're going to need Ethereum. Or maybe if we don't do Ethereum, we'll do something else. But at least Ethereum's universal. We can bridge it to whatever chain we want and then do whatever we want from there. Ideally, we want to price it in Ethereum, because remember, we're using an ERC20 contract, which means it is a EVM compatible. Now, it doesn't matter which freaking chain you go to out of the 4,000 whatever coins or tokens or blockchains you have. They're all using the same smart contract, which means that ultimately Ethereum is convertible. So we can convert it to whatever we want. So Ethereum is more of the parent chain. So that's what we want. That's the reason, guys. But other than that, it's freaking hot here. And I've arrived at my destination. So I'm going to catch you guys on another one very soon. If you have watched it to the end here, on the comments, if you do get the chance to get to the comments, write the letter Y. Y for Yankee, right? So yeah, just put Y in there so I'll know that you watched it to the end. But other than that, guys, I hope the video was informative, and yeah, it is what it is. This is the market. This is the nature of this industry. You always have to be prepared to see gains of 50%. On a good Sunday, or sometimes, in the middle of a week, see a dump of 50%. But let's see where we go from there. Nothing is, for me, if I see activity, it's actually good. It means the coin is alive. Any coin that hasn't moved, I'll be concerned. Any coin that is actively moving 10%, 15%, 5%, whatever, that means it's alive. That means the community is alive. That's a good thing. So remember this, because this is very important. You're going to need it in the future. Any coin that does not do anything, right? And I'm not talking about updates or anything. When the price structures do not move, that means people are not buying and selling these coins, right? But any coin that moves continuously and is protected by people who are bullish, or dumped by people who are not bullish, or whatever, even to make money, that's an active chain. And the most amount of activity we're seeing right now is Bitcoin, Ethereum, some other ones, but I'm not too concerned about those. Other than that, guys, like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos.